What's going on, TriFecta? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the review of the Demolition Ranch UDR-15 AR-15 AEG. All you new people, if you're not yet a part of the TriFecta, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so you get notified of all our new uploads. This video is brought to you by TriFectaAirsoft.com. Head over there to get all your cool merch, patches, and stickers. Also, consider joining our Patreon page. You'll get access to exclusive giveaways, as well as content that we do not post on YouTube, so extra stuff, as well as getting access to all of our videos early without ads. So let's go ahead and get into this review. Alright guys, so we originally got this gun in the Airsoft Con, BOA. If you guys haven't seen that opening, go ahead and check that video out. We got some other cool things in there too. So this rifle comes in a pretty basic box, nothing too crazy. You got your Demolition Ranch logo in the middle, and then you got your F1 and your EMG logos on the corners. And this gun is a collaboration between EMG, F1, and Demolition Ranch, of course. And this rifle is modeled after the real steel Demolition Ranch AR-15 by F1 Firearms. So when you open up the package, you got the basic packaging that comes on most rifles. You know, you got the foam inserts and the foam cover on the top. Pretty nice for shipping. The gun also does come in the plastic bag. And then besides the gun, also in the box, you get the APS 450 round high cap. And you also get your certificate of authentication. You also get the unjamming rod, which is standard issue, of course. You get those in every single gun box. Unfortunately, you don't get any sights or optics, so you will have to put your own sights on there. You don't get a manual either. On the back of the certificate of authentication, you just get a little QR code that says scan this for instructions and registration. So when you scan it, it basically just takes you to the EMG website for the listing of the Demo Ranch AR. And it's kind of just an overview of the gun, doesn't give an actual manual, so unfortunately you will not have that. So there are multiple different variations of this rifle. This one is the standard rifle, starting at $390, and then you can get ones with different gearboxes and with Cerakote that go all the way up to like $740. There's definitely a huge price range in these, and then some of them you can get like Magpul furniture, like Magpul stocks and stuff. So there's a few different options you have there. So let's talk about the build quality. So you have the upper and lower receiver, as well as the handguard, all being skeletonized, CNC machined aluminum. Your outer barrel and your muzzle device are metal too, and the only plastic you're going to have on this gun is the trigger, your fire controls, as well as your motor grip and your stock. That's the only plastic. Everything else is metal. Alright, so as you see, you have the distinct camo pattern on here. Definitely unique. You don't see many guns coming with an already applied camo. So this standard one is what they call a water transferred. So I'm assuming it's just something like hydro dipping. So it does have some durability there, but definitely not as much as Cerakote. However, it does keep the rifle a lot cheaper because those Cerakote versions do get way up in price. And you also have your Demo Ranch trades on here on the handguard on both sides. They're in a dark, like black writing, so they are kind of hard to see, but they are there. So let's move on to the features of the rifle. Starting at the back on the stock, you have the APS RS2 6-position adjustable stock. Now this thing only offers room for a buffer tube type battery because it is a minimalistic stock. You don't have room for any butterfly types or anything. You just have room to put one in that buffer tube. So the way this works, you just punch the pin out on the side, and then you're going to fold down your butt plate. And then you're going to pull that wire out, you're going to connect your battery, put it in the buffer tube, and then you can kind of use the back of the stock to fold the wires down, and then you fold it back up and put that pin back in. So you are only going to have a very small amount of room to put a battery. If it was me, I like running the bigger lipos, the nunchucks, so that way it lasts all day. You don't have to worry about it. I'd probably throw a different stock on there. So moving up to the receivers here, you can see that we have skeletonized everywhere. You can see your gearbox and your hop up from the outside of the rifle. You also have the skeletonized mag well, which is awesome. I think it looks cool, saves some weight, and it's pretty much becoming a standard on the F1 guns. They like to do a lot of the skeletonized stuff, so pretty cool there. You also have your ambidextrous fire selectors. They are a little bit extended and have texturing, and they do have positive click into the positions, so it does feel really good when you switch those fire positions. You have safe, you have semi, and you have full auto on this gun, as well as just a standard M4 mag release. It works pretty good, not too tight, not too loose. You also have a flat skeletonized competition type trigger, and it has a nice smooth pull and a nice break when it turns that gearbox, so it's a pretty good trigger. So on the left side of the upper receiver, you do have the bolt release button. This does work on this gun. When you pull back the charging handle, you pull back that mock bolt cover, and unfortunately it doesn't catch just by pulling back the charging handle. You kind of have to press this button in on the bottom for it to work, but it does work. And then once you're done with adjusting your hop up, or for whatever reason you pulled it back, you just press that button, and it will close just like a real AR. So it's kind of cool. Adds a little bit of realism, and it does help you out adjusting your hop up by it locking back like that. So definitely a cool feature. And your mock bolt cover does have the F1 licensing on there as well, so got some cool writing on the side of there. So on the back of the top of the receiver, you also do have your charging handle, which is metal, and you have your F1 licensing on there as well. So moving up to the front, you have a 14.3 inch M-LOK handguard, extremely low profile, and also the outer barrel is 16 inches. So the package is pretty long, however it does keep the front end fairly light. Up on the front here, your muzzle device is the F1 licensed Dragon Slayer, and this thing is all metal and it is removable, so you can't unthread it. The outer barrel is actually a 14mm negative thread, so you can either take that orange tip off and just leave the Dragon Slayer device on there. It looks awesome. Or if you wanted to run a tracer unit or a mock suppressor, you can just unscrew that and you have your normal 14mm negative threads. So you do have your 20mm Picatinny rails on the top here. It does extend a little bit past the end of the upper receiver here, just onto the handguard, and then it stops for a minute, and then at the very front you have a little piece on the top with more Picatinny rail, so for mounting PEX or lights, whatever you want to put on there, front sight, whatever you prefer. So you have a decent amount of rail space on that. So overall you have a length of about 37 inches when the stock is all the way collapsed, and just under 39 inches when the stock is all the way extended. And the weight of the rifle unloaded is about 5.7 pounds, so fairly light. So for the internals, you do have a version 2 full metal gearbox, fully upgradable, takes all standard version 2 parts, and it is wired to the rear in that buffer tube with the Dean's connector, not a Tamiya. So for all you Dean's guys out there, you are already upgraded with that Dean's connector. You don't have to swap it out, so that's pretty nice if you like Dean's. So on the website for the gearbox, it does say it's an EMG special edition, quick release spring, fully upgraded, ultra smooth gearbox. It's like a super long description, but it's just an APS Silver Edge gearbox, the standard Silver Edge. It even says that on the EMG website when you follow that link from the QR code. So for your gearbox, you do have an APS Silver Edge, and the hop-up unit is metal. You have your standard dial type adjuster, and then your inner barrel is 407mm. So you have fairly standard setup on this thing, nothing too crazy. The inner barrel is still, you know, pretty decent for the M4. It's not crazy long or nothing. Also, your grip in the motor is a long type motor, so just a standard long type that's fairly standard for most AR-15/M4 style rifles. One thing to note about the gearbox, with the skeletonized receiver, it does have some cutouts here. It has a ported cylinder, and it has some ports on the back where the spring are. So with the receiver being skeletonized, you do want to be kind of careful if you're playing with this thing outside. You don't want to get any like junk in there, like debris or dirt or anything. So if you're playing with this thing outside, just be careful, because you can get junk in your gearbox, and that's not something that you want to happen. So this thing is supposed to be shooting between 385 and 410 FPS with the .2s. So we're going to put on the chrono with the .2s and see what it's shooting on FPS. And we're also going to put the 2.5s on there and the 3.2s and get the joules with that. And then we're also going to get the fire rate with the 11.1 LiPo that it recommends. Okay. Alright, so we're shooting about 380 FPS with those .2s. It's just a tad below the advertised range, so it's not terrible. It's just a bit low for me. I mostly play outdoors, that's just my opinion. I'd rather have it up toward that 400 mark. But if you're someone that plays indoors, this thing would be good for you as well, because you'd probably be able to take this thing to most indoor fields. Alright, so the .25s and the .32s, we're at like 1.2 and 1.3 joules. Alright, so let's do some shooting with this thing. I've set up a target about 100 feet out, and we're going to shoot some different BB weights through there to see which one has the best accuracy. And we're going to start with the .25s. Alright, so when I was testing this thing, I got the best performance out of the .3s and the .32s. Keep in mind, it was a little bit windy when I was filming this, so take the accuracy test with a grain of salt. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. It performs pretty decent for what range we're using and for the conditions that it was outside, so it's pretty decent. So overall, guys, I do think this is a solid entry from EMG. I do love the design of the gun with the custom camo and the lightweight design, as well as this low profile handguard, which makes it easy to manipulate and hold. So in all honesty, guys, as far as the price goes, it may be a little bit on the high side, but you do get something extremely unique, and I'm sure it helps support Demo Ranch, which I'm a huge fan of that channel, so that is awesome. If you're gonna pick one of these things up, I'd go ahead and spend the extra 10 bucks and get the one with the E Silver Edge, which is the same gearbox, it just has an electronic trigger board instead of the regular trigger that this one has, and it's only 10 bucks more. So if you are considering this thing, I'd go ahead and pick up the one with the E Silver Edge instead. Electronic triggers just seem to have better responses in my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Demo Ranch UDR-15. Let me know what you guys think about this thing in the comments, and let me know what you think of the new format of the reviews as well. Let me know if you like it or not. So don't forget to pre-order your Zombie Green TriFecta patch. Those are on pre-order, and get your spot now because they are a limited run. And we'll be sending those out on St. Patty's Day, March 17th. So go ahead and get your spot on that. Also, don't forget about the Love and Respect giveaway. That's going to be on February 14th. We're going to be giving away this Demo Ranch gun and a baby Desert Eagle. Consider supporting us on Patreon and get yourself an entry into that giveaway by doing that. So that's all I have for you guys on this one. Have a good one. TriFecta out.